So I decided to use this port for the map sensor signal, and I'm gonna tap it for a pipe thread and then just use a barb fitting to go straight to the map sensor, so it's a dedicated source. So it turns out that it's just about the right size for a 3/8 pipe thread, which requires a 3764 drill bit. And when I ran it through there, you can see all the carbon shit that came out of it. It's basically that size already. So it's like it was meant to be. So now I just need to tap that, and I've got a source for the map sensor. Now looking at the other vacuum sources, this is a vacuum port, that's a vacuum port. The big one up in there is a vacuum port. The two small ones are coolant passages. Then we've got another one here, another one here, and another one here. All of those all connect to the main plenum, but these are all really big. One of these is going to be for the brake booster. I'm thinking about bringing off this one, maybe this one, not entirely sure yet, and bringing it to a vacuum block to go to the couple of HVAC vacuum sources that, or the stuff that needs vacuum. And then I'm gonna cut these out on the front here and the big one underneath there and just weld them shut. That way I've got very minimal chance to have a vacuum leak. And then on, as far as the map sensor goes, there was a convenient threaded hole right here, and an M5 screw, M5 bolt fit. That's the right size, or the right thread pitch. Makes this little map sensor here fit perfect. So I'm going to run with that, and then this vacuum line will be super short, come right here to that flange, which is about, right around here. So that worked out really nice. I am ready to put this engine in for the final time. I've got crossover pipe laid in place. It's probably going to move a little bit once the engine starts getting close to it, but it'll stay there. Got the flywheel on, torque down with the thread locker and the ARP lube. Flywheel plate, or the starter plate. That's just gonna have to chill there. And that's it. I think I'm ready. Get this thing situated. Alright, let me zoom in here. I will have to go underneath of, let's get you looking at the right thing. I will have to go underneath these motor mounts and go up from the bottom to tighten the two bolts that bolt to the block right there and the one in the back on both sides. Because I had left them loose so that the engine could shift around and sit where it needed to sit before I actually cinch those down. So now that it's basically where it needs to go, well, you know what, a better idea is to put the transmission on first, then tighten those up. That way it's truly where it needs to be. Let's go ahead and see if this steering shaft works. Well, that's not looking good. Now this manifold's absolutely hitting. It's not hitting this second runner like I thought it would, but it's still hitting. Oh, you know what? Thicker exhaust gaskets. That may have, that might be the culprit. Yeah, that's absolutely not turning. I wonder if the mount shifted a little bit and pushed it over this way. I took some pressure off the engine or off the truck with the crane, and I pulled the crane out, and then I grabbed that side of the engine and I shimmied it, and it seemed like it pulled over a little bit. Now I've got a little bit more clearance right there and right there. I think that's what it is. I think these mounts just need to be, well, I think I need to make sure this mount is as far out as possible and that other mount is as far in as possible. So I'm going to pull the engine back up a little bit, cinch down those mounts. Wherever they are is where they're going to be, and hopefully it just happens to line up with the studs. Round 2. Okay. Yeah, yep. So this mount is now as far out as it possibly can go. And I think that was the issue. See, that shifted. So I'm going to pull that out. And give these a rap-a-tap. All right. And we line up. That goes in way easier now. I still don't think it's all the way seated though. Ah, there it goes. Okay. Alright, that's as far forward as it's going to go. Clear the upper pipe now. We may just barely clear that third runner. It's hard to tell. There's some light on the subject. Is it heading? Doesn't sound like it. Kind of sounds like it. So I have hit the do as I say, not as I do point. So, except this you can do this all day. I hit the high spots with a hammer, and then I took a flat disc and I took off just a little bit of material on all four corners, right where those two contact points were. So this is the don't do as I do part. If anything, just spend the $80 on the Amazon pieces and just build your own little steering shaft here, or hindsight's always 20/20, cut that header a little bit closer and then you don't have to do that. You just have to bash the header in a little bit. But this should mean I'm completely clear and free to finally sit this engine in with the steering shaft clearing, ready to continue. And then I realized that the clutch kit did not come with a throw up or a pilot bearing, and nowhere local has one, so I gotta wait till tomorrow. No big deal, but I was really hoping to get the transmission in right now, but patience is a virtue. That's it. I'm gonna go ahead and throw this thing back in. I forgot to paint that. There we go. That's in. All right. Now the engine is all the way forward on the slots where it just about should be. Fresh paint, we should be able to see if there's any conflicts. All right. Did anything hit?